Just a reminder, the winner of this contest will face Mullen at 1 o'clock on Saturday for the 4A Girls State Championship. Cold foul called on number 52, Grandview. That is her 4th personal, team 5. At the line, Kylie Blackston, shooting 2. Timeout on the floor, charged to Pueblo South. This will be a full timeout. Kid foul called on number 2, Annie Laughlin. That is her 2nd personal, team 6. Timeout on the floor, charged to Pueblo South. This will be a 30-second timeout. Called on number 2, Annie Laughlin, her 3rd personal, team 7, Colts now in the bonus. At the line, number 22, Chloe Pack, should shoot 1 and 1. Timeout on the floor, charge to Air Academy. This will be a full timeout on the floor. Intentional foul called on number 4, Liza Falcon. That is her 4th personal. Team 8. At the line. At the line, back to the zero. Substitution for the Cadets, number 1, Tatum Miller. Cadet foul call number 13, Kylie Blackstone. Her 4, Team 9. Gabby Lucero at the line shooting 1-1. the basket. Your final score, Grandview South 45, Aaron County 32. How about a big hand for both teams? Every time they play, they both put out a great game. Saturday, 1 o'clock, the 4A championship will be Mullen and Grandview South.
Welcome to the north side of downtown Denver, Colorado. It's 6:57 Mountain Time, and here we are on March 7th, a Thursday, at the old relic, the Denver Coliseum, getting ready for Final Four women's hoops here in the 2019 postseason. Tonight, you'll get to witness the number 2 seed Regis Raiders, 23-3 overall on the season, against the 6 seed Grandview Wolves, 17-7 on the year. These are a couple of power programs in the state of Colorado, meeting for the 4th time in 7 years in the Final Four and beyond. Let's take a peek at the starters for the Grandview Wolves. And you can see a nice balance between a couple of seniors, a couple of juniors, and a sophomore. Also notable is the length. 6'4" O'Grady, freshman Betts coming off the bench at 6'7", and then there's 6'2" Davis. Let's go ahead and peek at Alicia Davis, who will be our impact player that we will feature here in the pregame segment. Alicia Davis, a 6'2" senior, 4-year starter, over 1,000 career points and over 300 career blocks. She will be playing at the next level for the University of Northern Colorado. Let's look at the ladies wearing the red and white tonight. The Regis Raiders and their starters for this evening. You see a couple of seniors, one junior, and a pair of sophomores. Those two underclassmen, they are legit, in Van Sickle and Jones. And our impact player to feature for tonight in the Final Four, well, part of the reason why you are likely watching is Francesca Belibi, the 6'1" senior with the next level physique and athletic ability. She dominates so often underneath the glass and has the ability to cover the entire floor in about 5-6 steps. An outstanding player to watch. With those goggles on, she will be a future Stanford Cardinal. The coaches for this evening, well, we'll start with Grandview, and their head coach is Josh Ulitsky. Josh is a 14-year head man for the Grandview program. He has 4 consecutive Final Fours, including this evening, and 2 national titles. There's a look at Josh right there. Such an excellent coach and a great guy to talk to. Loves his hoops. And then let's look at the head coach for the Regis Jesuit Raiders, and that would be Carl Matty, sitting right there. Looking pretty spiffy right there, getting ready for another Final Four appearance. 15 years Carl has been the head man for the Regis Raiders women's basketball program. He has 3 championships within this decade under his belt. I'm Marty Cesario. We are live from the Denver Coliseum, and we're getting ready for some Final Four action. With me is my partner, Paisana. It's Mary Kay Morrow, who is here with us, and we're going to get some projections and expectations from Mary Kay in just a few seconds. Mary Kay is going to be visiting with us and sharing exactly what she thinks as we look at the graphics. By the way, you can engage with us on Twitter if you want, at Marty Cesario and at MKMorrow6. So, MK, Regis, Grandview, here we are once again. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, I love the matchup. You know, here are 2 teams that the last 2 years have battled, and what I give them credit for is that they battle in December, and then they happen to meet each other in March for the 2nd year in a row. So the last 2 Decembers, Regis has lost, or rather beaten Grandview. Grandview returned the favor and won in a state championship last year. So you know that's in the back of the minds of the Regis Jesuit Raiders, as they do not want that to happen again here in the Final Four, because they would like to go on to win their 4th state title.
Yeah, you look at the history between these 2 juggernaut programs. They both come out of the Southeast Aurora area, so you have a lot of young ladies who know each other within the neighborhoods, but also within club basketball. And as Mary Kay is mentioning, is you're talking about squads who even know each other at this point. I talked about it in the open with a quick tease where it's the 3rd time or the 4th time in the last 7 years, Final Four and beyond. And you look at the overall records, they've split them 2-2, and Carl Matty passed by us within the the depths of the Coliseum here and just joked, this could be called the hashtag rubber match, right? It's going to be outstanding to watch. When you talk about players, of course, Belibi and Davis are going to be on our radar, but you can just go ahead and broad stroke anything. Talk about the level of talent that we are not only going to witness here locally, but also on a national level here in the Final Four in Denver.
And you know what? We'll start with the Regis Raiders. It's amazing to me what they've been able to do, and as much as Fran Belibi has been a focal point, and rightfully so,
right.
She's only been playing basketball a little over 3 years and has elevated her game, learned the game, a student of the game, as well as a student in the classroom, as an outstanding student. But she's been on a USA, junior national team, won a gold. Autumn Watts, actually, from Highlands Ranch, has done that too with her. And it's just amazing what she's done. And then you see how much she's a presence in the paint, can run the floor, and she alters shots because of her ability to get above the rim. There are other players around her. She's got one of the best point guards in Jada Moore, and Jada Moore is the engine to this team. Look for Moore to really take on a load. She's doubled her scoring output since her freshman year. She's just a junior. And the one who's really been the player who's actually provided as much or actually more points than Belibi this tournament has been the sophomore, Avery Van Sickle, who's had games of 25 and 18 against Horizon and Denver East, respectively, in this tournament, and has 4 threes in each of those contests.
Before PA announcements come on, quick bullet points on some of the Grandview Wolves, besides Alicia Davis.
You've got Addison O'Grady, who starts she's 6'4". She is an elite player in volleyball and was in the elite 8, along with Betts, the freshman off the bench, who's 6'7". And then you've got your guards in Tamia Johnson, a freshman who leads this squad, and the wings of Leah Marlette and Landry Hudson, who have the 3. So Alicia Davis, she's going to drive this team. She's finesse, and she's a quiet giant out there. Let's
stand by for public address to give you the starters for both of these squads and the reserves, and then we'll have the upcoming tip-off here in the Final Four.
Promotes and protects the privilege of participation in interscholastic activities. The CHASA membership also promotes lifetime values like respect, hard work, teamwork, sporting behavior, participation, and citizenship. They help reach and motivate students. The CHASA membership is a group of many educators that develop policies as a group and enforce them as a responsibility of membership. This membership is coaches, game officials, and administrators voluntarily working for the common good of the kids. These dedicated professionals, along with the students participating, are the CHASA. The Colorado High School Activity Association welcomes you to the Denver Coliseum for the Final Four of the 2019 Class 5A State High School Girls Championship. And tonight, our first semifinal will feature the 6th-seeded Wolves of Grandview High School against the number 2-seeded Raiders from Regis Jesuit. Our second semifinal at approximately 8:30 will pit the Bruins of Cherry Creek against the Falcons of Highlands Ranch. Now let's meet the starting lineups. First, the reserves for tonight's first semifinal. First for the Wolves from Grandview, a junior, number 1, Cameron Brown. Sophomore, number 3, Breelyn Robinson. Number 10 is junior, Libby Campbell. Number 35, a sophomore, Desaya Jones. And a freshman, number 51, Lauren Betts. Now the reserves for the Raiders from Regis Jesuit. Number 3, a freshman, Madden McHugh. Junior, number 5, Colleen Mulbarger. Sophomore, number 15, Gracie Wigan. Also a sophomore, number 20, Michelle East. Number 22 is freshman, Abigail Shea. And another freshman, number 33, Sarah Mulbarger. Now the starters for the Wolves from Grandview. Freshman number 13, Tamia Johnson. Number 44, sophomore Addison O'Grady. A junior, number 21, Landry Hudson. Number 11 is senior Aaliyah Marlott. And also a senior, number 5, Alicia Davis. The head coach in his 14th year, Josh Gulitsky. Now the starters for the Raiders of Regis. A sophomore, number 11, Avery Van Sickle. Also a sophomore, number 24, Samantha Jones. Junior, number 23, Jada Moore. Senior, number 4, Sydney Wagad. And a senior, number 1, Francesca Belibi. The head coach in his 15th year, Carl Matei.
Okay, we thank you to Public Address here in the Denver Coliseum for delivering the personnel announcements here inside the Old Relic. Quickly recapping the starters for each of these squads. We'll start with the 6th seed, the Grandview Wolves. Aaliyah Merritt, a 5'9 senior, along with 5'7 junior Tamia Johnson. 5'9 junior Landry Hudson, 6'4 sophomore Addison O'Grady, and the 6'2 senior Alicia Davis that we featured in the pregame open. For the Regis Raiders, the 2 seed in the 2019 tournament, 5'10 senior Sydney Wiegand, 5'9 sophomore Avery Van Sickle, 5'10 junior Jada Moore, who will run the point most of the time, 6'1 sophomore Samantha Jones, and 6'1 senior Francesca Belibi will start the game for the Regis Raiders. Quick visual setup as you look at Fran. Middle screen with Alicia Davis. We'll watch that battle all night long. Wearing the white uniforms trimmed along the sides in red. Those are the Raiders from Regis Jesuit High School in Southeast Aurora. Wearing the dark uniforms trimmed along the shoulders and the sides of the shorts in blue. Those are the Grandview Wolves, also from Southeast Aurora. It is the 5th time that these two squads are meeting each other this decade in the postseason. The record overall, 2-2, as we've just begun this basketball game. Glad to have you with us here. Again, Marty Cesario along with Mary Kay Morrow. And look at Regis starting off with a full court 1-2-2 press on the Wolves.
Well, and even after the off the tip, Davis actually won the tip against Fran Belibi, but Sam Jones stepped in front of the Grandview Wolf to get the ball. So you know immediately they're locked in, and they know Grandview. This is an arch nemesis. There's no question. 2-time defending champs. They seem to do well in the regular season. They need a little bit better luck and focus here in the postseason.
I can confirm that. I went downstairs to reconfirm some player pronunciations, and both of the staffs, it was as if we've broken up recently. Okay, gotcha. Game face intensity, and rightfully so. Belibi to the inside, knifes through, misses the shot, rebound O'Grady. And Grandview's pushing up the floor. Here comes Davis. And she misses that shot. Wiegand trying to get the rebound. And she has a battle with one of the Wolves, and that would be Aaliyah Marlett, the 5'9 senior. And the Raiders will be awarded possession. Again, we've just begun this basketball game. No score, 1 minute and roughly 15 seconds into the game. Winner will move on to the state championship game. Each of these squads knows what that's like. Jada Moore driving to the inside, draws a whistle, and we'll get our first isolation shot on a free throw attempt, and that will be Jada Moore at the line, the 5'10 junior.
Well, Jada Moore does what's one of the things that she does well, and that's take the ball to the glass. And she takes, kind of a mismatch. She's a 5'11 wiry guard with speed and also a finishing attitude, and she went up against a freshman in 5'7 Tamia Johnson.
Well, hopefully her brother at Oregon State is watching. Remember, you can always add comments and join and engage with us here on Facebook Watch. As you see that three-pointer, perhaps you want to react to that jack from the outside, and that's a successful 3 for Landry Hudson. So both teams have now scored in the game. Hudson with the 3 to answer the lone free throw make for Jada Moore. Regis bringing it up the floor again. Join us along on Facebook Watch. Add your comments, your expectations, whatever you would like to share.
And Landry Hudson, a lot of sisters on this Grandview team. Her sister Lindsay was on the first state championship team for Grandview, and Cameron Brown, who will come off the bench for the Wolves, her sister Kennedy was also on that first team.
Carl Maddie doesn't like the start as Beliebe tries to push it up the floor to Moore. It goes out of bounds, so an unforced error and a turnover as we creep in on the staff and the huddle for the Regis Raiders. Carl Maddie is the gentleman right there, center of your screen. A couple of studs flanking him, the assistants. How about Anna Tazinski right there?
Also in the mix to your lower right corner is Daisy Akabogan. Both of them on the last state championship team in 2014 for Coach Maddie.
Good people, those two young ladies, and it just shows something about the program that they return after their collegiate careers to help out Carl Maddie.
Isn't that great to give back a little bit? Tazinski will head to medical school after her coaching assignment, and Akabogan probably stay on staff.
About 2.5 minutes in, Grandview with the 2-point lead after a Hudson three-pointer. Down low, Davis, good. That's a nice feed from post to post. O'Grady to Davis, successful, and a 4-point advantage for Grandview in the dark uniforms defending.
Well, Davis is so good around the basket. Great footwork, good hands, and just finishes well.
Moore seems to be making concerned efforts to get to the inside via the bounce. There's a comment. Grandview is the call from Byron right there. That's his call. He's saying the Wolves are going to take this one. Have to keep tallies unofficially. Marcia says Regis. Okay, so there's a counter right there on the Facebook Watch. 3 minutes into this Final Four basketball game. Winner will play the victor between Highlands Ranch and Cherry Creek, which will be later on tonight here at the Coliseum. Three-pointer is good from the corner. Guess who's hot? And that would be Landry Hudson.
Landry Hudson heating up from the perimeter. And just like that, the Wolves with a 7-point lead.
Well, sometimes, you know, MK, we don't have to be coaches, right? Here's an easy one. Find that girl in the corner and contest that shot.
Get her the basketball.
Yeah, if you're Grandview, you're saying, okay, feed her. Let's look at the replay. Calling for it is Hudson. Look at her, left all alone. Defense late to get there. Splash.
Yeah, that was a great skip pass. And to see her cross court.
7-point lead early in this Final Four basketball game between these two monsters of programs. Regis, the 2 seed, 23-3. Grandview, a 6 seed, but the defending champions at 17-7.
Tamia Johnson, just a freshman. She had to step into the shoes, Marty, of Jaden Galloway, who had an outstanding freshman season at Metropolitan State University of Denver. And she was just a defensive stopper, you know, controlled the tempo. And it took her a little bit to get used to Grandview and the speed of the game at this level. But she has settled in well, and the 5'7" freshman from Colorado Springs moved up here when her dad was the head coach at Sand Creek. Tommy Johnson got an assistant coaching job with Jim Turgeon of the University of Denver.
Some Pio blood out on the floor. Meanwhile, Beliebe receives down low and scores the first field goal of the game for Regis. 4 minutes and 15 seconds into the contest.
And
that's their first make.
Yeah, and stops a 7-0 run. Yet to get her hands on the ball and launch one is Avery Van Sickle, who's been dynamite this tournament. And that's number 11 in white.
Yeah, you think of the last two games for Van Sickle, the sophomore sharpshooter. She had 25 points in the grade 8 victory over Horizon, 18 points against Denver East in the Sweet 16, and then 12 against CT in their round 2 game to begin postseason play. And there's Van Sickle operating right now. Looking for help, she finds Samantha Jones. Back to Moore, the point guard.
That's just a good read on the side. Aaliyah Marlette comes in at 5'9", but Marlette plays bigger than that. You know, a little thicker, but very active defensively. And you see her there challenging on the perimeter against Sydney Wigan, who was one of the 800 nominated for a McDonald's All-American. Fran Belibi was selected. So 2 nominations on Regis, a rare occasion when you have 2 on one team.
Marlette advances it up the floor, stops and hit it. There's a number 11 right there, so she gets her first field goal tonight, averaging 9.9 points in the postseason, along with the 5.5 boards, roughly. 3.3 assists, 2.6 steals, so she's filling up the stat columns through the course of this postseason. Defense forces another turnover for Grandview.
And Marlette, along with Davis, are 4-year players on this squad for Coach Josh Ulitsky. And that carries some weight. They've got a couple of championships under their belts and looking for another before they graduate Grandview.
Well, and there's Aaliyah trying to get one off. Missed the backboard. Belibi trying to pick it up off the deck, a 50-50 ball, and then a whistle blown. And that's something we'll have to qualify. You know, we'll keep saying 6-seed Grandview, 17 wins on the season. They're the defending champs twice over. So let's keep that straight.
And keep perspective.
Yes. Corner shot from 3, good. Right on cue.
Beautiful catch and shoot. Marlette now reels off 5 in a row.
Let's take a peek at it from the other side. This time not Hudson, it's Aaliyah. And she splashes that one. That's 3 3-pointers in the first quarter and a 10-point advantage for Grandview.
The Wings are finding open spots on the court, and the corners are wide open, and they're making those looks.
Nice eyes, MK, because in both cases, the 2 Hudson makes from behind the arc, and then Aaliyah we just saw just wide open, uncontested, right? So there'll have to be some adjustments for Carl Maddie's defense. Meanwhile, whistle blown as Regis was operating in the half-court set. That'll be 13th foul called against Grandview, just 1 for Regis so far.
6'7" Lauren Betts now in, freshman for Grandview. Played volleyball with Addison O'Grady and for Rob Graham's Grandview squad that made it to the Elite 8 this year.
If you're a hashtag multi-sport fan, well, you just mentioned those. You got both O'Grady and Betts, who were state qualifiers, and were actually in this facility.
That's right.
with you calling the games.
That's
right.
You know, and it definitely was a thrill, especially to do high school volleyball. Some of the best in the country comes right out of Colorado.
Belibi, bounce pass, Moore on the run, steps through, bucket, no good. Betts comes to follow, and then a whistle blown. And that'll be called against Grandview, I believe. That's going to be perhaps whistled against Lauren Betts. You just got a quick look at the 6'7" freshman. 13.5 points in the postseason, 8.5 boards, about 4 blocks per game. And it'll be Betts who will challenge Wigan on the inbounds pass.
How about that wingspan?
That 3-pointer short from Van Sickle. When is Van Sickle going to get hot? She has hit 4 3-pointers in each postseason game.
I think the length of Grandview right now, very disruptive to any kind of flow offensively for Regis. Plus, forcing Regis in the half court has been a difference maker. They're so good in the open floor. You get them in the half court right now. Grandview doing a great job of really limiting touches for the Raiders.
Great read by Mary Kay. The differential on both sides defensively. Regis is not getting out to those 3-point shooters. Grandview is. And the ball popped out of bounds. Regis will maintain possession, down 10 points. Gracie Wigan deep in the corner. Look at her over here, 15. She's looking for a pass from her sister. Thinks she's wide open. Keeps clapping her hands.
Cameron Brown's now in, trying to gauge the inbound. Number 1 for Grandview. In between the Wigan sisters.
Over the top to Jada Moore. usually a very good choice.
Exactly.
More working dribble between the legs. Excellent defense on the part of Tamia Johnson.
Side out of bounds for the Wolves.
So far, the D is nails for Grandview. A little frustration and concern for the point guard of Regis, Jada Moore.
Moore, such a competitor. Tough guard, quick, fast. We've seen a couple of opportunities for dribble drive. No connection yet.
Three-pointer, no good from the corner. A rare miss so far in the first quarter from the outside. As we look at Alicia Davis quickly getting back. And then she stops because press defense is going to be applied by Grandview. Under a minute to play first quarter. 10-point lead for Grandview defending. Moore trying to work the two-man game. Sydney Wigan for three. Good.
Pretty catch and shoot by the senior, Sydney Wigan. One of the few open opportunities, and she nails it.
Right on cue as Spring Lacrosse is firing up. She'll be part of Catherine Ames' crew eventually, and then in the future playing for Army. And we'll look at the replay of Sydney Wigan calling for it. I want it. It's me. I'm open. Launch and good.
Yeah, got there just before the outstretched hands of Landry Hudson. Nice finish by the senior.
Well, here's Alicia Davis. ISO shot at the free throw line.
11, Avery Van Sickle back in for Regis.
Davis, a 4-0 student, a 4-year starter.
You know, Marty, what I've been so impressed with her, and I mentioned it in the open, a quiet giant, she's just consistently been one of the top players, a top-tier player in this state. The past 4 seasons, she's strong, she's smooth, she's consistent, and there have only been 3 players in Grandview history to score 1,000 career points or more, and she's one of them.
Bet one of them's at UCLA.
That is true. And the other one is Daisy Akabogan. No, Obana, excuse me, Daisy Obana, who went to Rice.
Well, I think Sydney Wigan has found her stroke and has landed 2 3-pointers consecutively. And a block by Samantha Jones underneath. 5.1 seconds on the clock, and we'll look at the replay. Wigan, everything rolled away from her, so she called for it. Nailed it from the top.
Landry Hudson at the line for 2.
And just like that, what a way to get yourself back in this one after being down by as many as 10 for the Raiders. They're going to close out the first quarter a little bit tighter so that they're going to make it a better run in quarter number 2.
Hudson hits the first and both. Landry Hudson is the leading point totaler in this game so far with 8. And an 8-point lead for Grandview. One last shot. Van Sickle, here she comes. And no good, and that'll finish up our first 8 minutes in this Class 5A Final Four contest. Hudson got it started with the threes. Wigan, most recently for Regis. We got an 8-point game as we take a break after the first quarter.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At nfhslearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
Wide shot, Denver Coliseum. I love that old logo, Denver underneath. It says Mile High City across the top. If you can't read that stenciling through your screen. By the way, thank you so much for joining us on the NFHS Network and Facebook Watch. Great start to this Final Four contest between 2 powerhouses in women's basketball here in the state of Colorado. Betts with the offensive board finds O'Grady. It's sent back up top to Landry Hudson. She sends the runner and off the glass and good. Landry Hudson on fire, and she's got 9 points in the game. Pardon me, double digits with 10.
That was such a deceiving play by Hudson. It looked like she was going to pass, and last moment she sends a floater. Hey, when it's going in, you might as well give it an attempt. You've got 6'5" and 6'7" underneath to help you out.
Yeah, that was one of those. Coach might go, no. Okay, that's fine. You got the two. Just got started, second quarter here in the Denver Coliseum. Join us with comments, reactions. Tell us your favorite players so far in this game within the first half. Just type in something in the comments section here on Facebook Watch and, of course, the national NFHS network platform. Rebound, Grandview pushing it up the floor. Tamia Johnson. Oh, crossover. Crowd reacts, no finish. The Wolves are flanking us from our perch, and they enjoyed the dribble work of Tamia Johnson as we look at Fran Belibi. And then a three-point shot by Grandview, and it is good. That is Landry Hudson once again. She's got 13 in the first half.
Well, Landry Hudson, if she wasn't your crush before, she is now. Landry Hudson now has 3 triples in the game. That's the 4th for the Wolves.
You look at the graphic on the bottom of your screen. Again, your favorite player. Well, right now, and MK, we joke because we work together a lot. I do, whether it's men's or women's basketball, I will get a number one crush, and I will ride that all game long until proven otherwise. And right now, I think Landry Hudson, you're doing all right.
She's the front runner.
Yeah, she is a front runner. She's got my attention. That is fair. With 13 points, Landry Hudson, the 5'9" junior, helping to establish this 13-point lead in the first half for the Grandview Wolves. Steal, Wigan. She's going to come up the floor with it. Blocked by Addison O'Grady.
And O'Grady just waited. She stayed from behind, but she has such length. She just timed it perfectly, all ball.
Volleyball reference, she tooled that one out of bounds.
That's exactly right.
And then Van Sickle finds her first shot from the outside. Careful now if you're Grandview defending, because Van Sickle has popped the cork for herself. Her first 3 of the game, Regis within 10.
In this tournament, she's averaged 4 triples per contest.
Raiders defense creating opportunities. Samantha Jones off offensive board. Wigan keeps the possession alive. Reset up top, Van Sickle. A swipe and a steal on the run, fast break, bucket, good. Tamia Johnson, very timely.
Tamia Johnson looked at the ball and not her eyes, and Van Sickle was looking ahead and didn't protect. Tamia Johnson took advantage and converted the steal.
That kind of abuse on the school playground, you'd be sent inside by the aide. I mean, that's just not fair, and it's wrong. Steal by Johnson resulted in a 12-point advantage as Belibi tries to operate, and a whistle blown. And that's going to be a traveling violation, I believe. Let's get a good tight look here.
Oh,
yep.
And it was a hesitation. I think there was a little disruption by Tamia Johnson coming by her, and just hesitation to put that ball on the deck before she took that step, and travel turns it over.
Well, more Grandview defense creating things, and that's part of why you see the 12-point advantage for the Wolves.
So far, Grandview completely has taken Regis out of its offensive flow. There hasn't been any yet tonight. 3
steals last 4 possessions for the defense of Regis, and there's an answer. Avery Van Sickle hits another 3-pointer. We've seen enough, right? Watch out if that girl starts feeling it.
Well, how about Jada Moore? She knew after she hit that first one, maybe, just maybe, all of a sudden it'd kind of take a little pressure off of her, look for her in transition, drives, kicks, and Van Sickle puts it through.
That's Carl Maddie's defense that's creating those possibilities for the Raiders. Now, we saw the O'Grady block on the other end, but we've also seen Van Sickle hit one. As we look at the replay here, on that altercation, O'Grady back heel.
Interesting call. Did not see the travel that time. but great coverage underneath by the Raiders to wreak a little havoc on Davis.
Give and go. Jones receives it, and she missed. And pushing up the floor is Aaliyah Marlett. And there's a missed shot. Gracie Wigan with the rebound. And she's not going to give that basketball up. Look at the intensity by Gracie Wigan.
Wigan ripping that down. Wigan comes in at 5'9", just a sophomore. Her sister, the senior, Sydney. Another premier lacrosse player in the Wigan family.
One of the top recruits in women's lacrosse in the entire nation. Bank on that. And I just happen to know U.S. Lacrosse Magazine just came out, and in the West region, Regis is ranked in the top 10 there. And she's part of the reason.
You see the asterisk?
Yes,
yeah.
She's part of the reason why. 9-point game, halfway through the second quarter.
Our officials tonight, Lisa Stone, Tom Bennett, and Stephen Riker.
17 foul, Wolves over the limit.
Minimal free throw attempts for either one of these squads. This will be the third shot from the line for Regis in the first half.
Grandview's only losses in Colorado to Regis Jesuit, and that was back again in December, as we mentioned. It was December 12th. Would have been at that game. That was my mom's 91st birthday, so I could not attend that game. However, Regis Jesuit won that one 79-55, a 24-point advantage. And then the other loss was late in the season to Centennial League rival Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek will be coming up next against number 1 Highlands Ranch, and they lost that one 55-48. Regis one loss in Colorado, and that was to Highlands Ranch, 65-49 on February 12th.
Saw the defensive board by Beliebe. Now Regis with possession. Fair to say the Wolves have dominated this half, but guess what? It's a 3-possession basketball game. Moore for 3. And good.
Jada Moore with her first field goal, and it's a big one.
Well, Jada Moore had that huge night against Denver East, scoring 22 points. Otherwise, just runs the operation. Calls her own number in that respect and gets her team within 4. The Wolves could use a bucket. They take the 3, and that's far off. Moore handles her business around the glass, too, and gets tangled up with Cameron Brown, the 5'5 junior, and we'll see who gets awarded possession. Here's the replay. It's a loose ball, comes over to Moore.
And it's money. Yeah, that's the third triple in the quarter. 2 from Van Sickle and 1 from the junior, Jada Moore.
So Van Sickle has 8. For Moore, that was her second make. Here's Chris Hartfield. What's up, Ole Miss? Watching from Mississippi.
Nice.
I spent some time in Memphis.
Now Clinton's watching from Hawaii.
That's
Highlands Ranch, if
outstanding.
he watches later, Highlands Ranch has Casey Newbert headed to the University of Hawaii next year.
Ellen's in the D.C. area. Could be, Maryland, the way they play lacrosse, both guys and girls.
That's right.
Maybe it's
That's
the lacrosse
right.
talk.
Schenectady.
All right.
How about that?
Hey, Rachel, how's it going? Over in Schenectady. Schenectady. I just
I
want to say
like
it 8
saying
times.
that
Yeah,
word,
exactly.
Schenectady. I have to really enunciate. Thank you, Rachel.
Well, glad you're enjoying this Colorado women's basketball, because if you don't mind us puffing our chests just a little bit, popping our jerseys, we got the good stuff out here, if you're becoming aware. Legit athletes, and I think you're enjoying how they're performing so far here in the first half. It's a 4-point game. The 2-seed Regis is trailing by 4, but making a run and creeping back into this basketball game. At one point, they were down by 11 points in this game. 13 at 22-9, but now it's just a 4-point game. Spin move, Beliebe, well defended by Davis, and then a foul called. And no, it was not. Correct myself. Excellent defense by Davis against Beliebe.
You know, interesting in looking at possible strategy here for Regis Jesuit offensively. So they've struggled to get it to Beliebe. So if you spread that half-court offense, you open up some spaces for her where she is so effective. They thought they had her 1v1 on Davis, but Davis quick hands.
It looked good. Well, you know, I remember talking to Josh on production call, and I was just getting some core elements, but when, you know, I said, our impact player, let's talk about Alicia, say some nice things, he goes, she'll be the nice matchup for Fran. He knows part of why we're doing this broadcast is because of the attention for Beliebe, but he knew what he had too in Davis.
Absolutely.
And she can ball.
She just did a high-low to Addison O'Grady, who comes in at 6'4". She is just a sophomore, and Betts, 6'7", is just a freshman. So the up-and-comers for Coach Ulitsky.
You won't miss Betts. She's receiving Gracie with the rebound, pushing it up the floor, looking for a helper. Eventually, it's Van Sickle.
Beliebe on the bench right now. So Regis goes a little smaller to the taller Grandview Wolves.
Under 2 to play in this first half of basketball in the Denver Coliseum. Riverside North area, just north of the Mile High City proper. As we get a look at the defenders down low for Grandview. Tamia Johnson shaking her head. She concedes, and we'll see some more free throws from Avery Van Sickle, who already has so many offers. Big Ten, Pac-12, ranking top 10 in all classifications within the state in three-point efficiency.
Van Sickle, an 84% free throw shooter to boot. Makes it a real complete player. In her defense continues to improve. Quick hands. Coach Ulitsky even says, I said, you know, she's got to be one of the purest shooters you've ever seen. He goes, I haven't seen anything pure. I mean, she really strokes it.
Well, Van Sickle hit 2, 10-point run for Regis, and a missed shot by Betts. And the Raiders come out with it with a chance to tie or take the lead with a deep ball. About a minute and a half left. Van Sickle off dribble. High post Jones. Miscommunication. Avery able to chase it down. They're going to run it through Jones. Makes the turn, and it's blocked by Lauren Betts.
See Betts at the right behind the circle, waits long enough. She was probably 2 feet behind, didn't matter.
Trusted her length, waited for that ball
nice
to get
deflection.
released, and then just whipped it out of bounds. More good defense by Grandview. Regis is going to keep possession. 69 seconds left in the second quarter. 10-0 run for Regis to get to within 2.
And defensively, that's a good intangible there. You saw that deflection by Marlette. And you're right, it was at one time a 24-12, and it's been a 10-0 run here for the Raiders.
Near side weave. Quarter court offense. Stolen away. Aaliyah on the drive, and good on the break. That was timely. Yielding 10 points consecutively. 5'9" senior Aaliyah Marlette. See the swipe? And on the run, gets the bucket.
And I give a little credit to Johnson, too, because Johnson turned her into Marlette on the help defense.
Marlette with 7 points in the game. Jones for 3, too strong. And a rebound by Hudson. Under 15 to play. And stolen away by Sam Jones. Samantha lay up and no good. Still time. 5 seconds left in this quarter.
And the lefty, Jones, is limping.
Feed Davis, no good. And we'll have to keep an eye on Samantha Jones, who already missed a couple of games. Those were concussive symptoms. There's a tight look at Alicia Davis after the miss, but the Wolves have to be pleased. A 4-point lead going into the halftime break. Well, we'll put up another 16 minutes as we have 2 quarters remaining to find out who's going to beat either Highlands Ranch or Cherry Creek. Grandview started with the big lead, up 24-9 at one point. And then Regis on that 10-0 run. And we finish the break. It's a 4-point spread in favor of the Grandview Wolves. Now we take the halftime break. You get a look at You Know the Vibes, including Sharif Cooper from McCairn, the #1 team in the United States, brought to you by Slam Magazine and Ball is Life.
Dyckman is like the place. You know, the atmosphere is crazy. You got to bring your game.
It's a great court, great environment. People are really into it. It's just crazy to be on such a legendary park. When I hear Dyckman, I think of hardcore basketball. Everyone giving it they all, not caring who you are.
Dyckman, you just got to come out and play hard and show the crowd what you could do. They don't care about the mixtapes, they don't care about what they see on social media. They care about what they see at the moment. So it's like you always got to bring it.
It's different from regular high school games because there's more talent. People know what they're doing. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a good game. I'm not approaching it different. I'm still got the same mentality going into the game. I'm going to dog everybody, kill everybody, come at their heads.
I was blessed just to get the invite, just to get invited down here, especially because it was my first time being in New York City.
You know, Slam is like the face of grassroots basketball.
We were really the first media brand to talk about basketball as a culture. I just want to thank every one of you guys, really from the bottom of my heart, for coming in, making the first Slam game happen.
You know, this whole thing is going to be a celebration of you guys, basketball culture, New York City basketball culture, and all of you who are really our next generation of stars.
Year. It's the first one, and they selected all of us to be the headliners for the first time, so it's an honor. And then being in New York, it's cool to be on a different coast and like seeing different things. Today, we went to Facebook, Instagram, headquarters.
We're at the Instagram office, and I'm doing it for the gram.
We all got verified, got tours of Instagram and Facebook.
Bro, who else they give the check? Everybody got the check, right?
Everybody here got their check. They talk to us, we play Fortnite.
He had a no-kill. Hey, easy. That's love, bro. That's not supposed to happen. There's people like me who really grind out my dubs. People like Cassius can sit out the whole game and somehow just find a way to win.
I'm sitting back with the West Coast boys. Right now we're going to do 3-point one-on-one and dunk contest at Lifetime Gym. We're in New York. It's really different from LA.
Each game is 3 minutes. The first player to 3 points wins, and the winner of the one-on-one will be one of our 2 captains in tomorrow's Slam Classic.
The one-on-ones, everyone's into it. You know, we was playing hard defense, wasn't letting up.
I lost in the one-on-one finals to Ramsey.
The dunk contest was live. Everyone brought energy. Everyone was hyped.
Guys really brought their game.
It was me, Ramsey, Andre, and Cassius, and you know, we just came out, did our thing. And Cassius came up on top. Man, you see how I'm coming. I'm the champ, they gotta carry my belt. And then we're here on this boat. And I have no clue what we're doing, but we're on a boat. We out here on the... Is this the Hudson River?
Welcome to the yacht. Hey, let's get our 2 champions of our dunk contest and our one-on-one contest up here. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to rock, paper, scissors for first pick. Step up to the table. Team Stanley versus Team Ramsey.
Rock, paper, scissors, say shoot.
All right, here we go. Kansas got first pick.
I got Josh Christopher.
I'm a West Coast guy, so I kind of just went with most of the West Coast guys.
Our team's stacked. We got all the West Coast guys, basically. So we got to win, obviously, put on for the West Coast.
It's fun to play against these guys. Just getting to compete is always fun.
Be careful, bro. Oh, all right, use the handrail. One step at a time, brother.
Dykeman legend.
I want to see what the Dykeman legend going to do today.
I want to see what the Dykeman
I'm interested now.
So you're gonna do the same thing at Rutgers? Oh, I don't know what Rutgers is. Rutgers might be a different environment. Here we go. It's basketball. It's basketball.
We pulled up to Dykeman today for the game at 1. We got there. Watched the girls' game before us, all the top players, and they put on a show.
What's the key to playing today?
We started warming up on our side court and getting dressed, and people started filing in.
Just make sure you're stretching loose before we go in. All right?
It's just the energy, you know, the environment that they playing in. So it's live. Everyone's into the game. I don't think any of us really knew what was going to happen. We're all competitors, and we just wanted to see what Dykeman was really all about, and they showed us.
Hey, man, this is crazy, bro. This is a different level, man. It's lit.
That's a place where they don't care about your name. All they care about is, you know, what they see at the moment while you're playing at Dykeman. So if you don't play good, the fans are going to think you're trash. And even if you're not good on social media and you come and you kill at Dykeman, everybody at Dykeman think all of a sudden you're a superstar.
The game was like ecstatic, especially the atmosphere. Every time I got the ball, it was loud, so I had to like lock in and try to focus. It hyped me up a lot.
We playing to win, but at the same time, we playing to get our name out and have fun. But as soon as someone go at you, that's that one-on-one. That's when you gotta lock in. You gotta really show out right there. Everybody came, play hard. I was on Cash's team. He lost by like 10 or something like that.
It was my debut. It's my first time being at Dykeman Park, so it was a great experience.
I not only became a fan of the first team, but New York City was impressive.
This is a great experience, a humble experience. Shout out to Slam for even having us, inviting me. Shout out to New York for, you know, having us at the Dykeman. In a couple years, it's gonna blow up. So next year, I hope I'm able to come back. I wish I was a junior so I could be here next year for Volume 2. It was a great weekend. Did so many fun things in such a short amount of time, but shout out to Slam. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Back to the Coliseum here, awaiting second half action in this Final Four matchup between the Regis Raiders and the Grandview Wolves. Right now, the 6th seed Grandview Wolves, the two-time defending state champions, with a 4-point lead at the halftime break. Looking at the statistics through 2 quarters of play, overall shooting, Grandview from the field, 42%. They were 4 of 8 from the three-point line, 9 of 21 overall. Their leading point totalers. 13 points for Landry Hudson. Boy, she was hot from the field. 7 points for Aaliyah Merritt. Alicia Davis has 4, and Tamia Johnson has 2. For Regis, shooting 30% in the first half. Started to pick it up towards the end of that second quarter there. They were shot 6 of 20 overall, 5 of 8 from behind the three-point line. their leading point totalers, Avery Van Sickle with 10, 6 for Sydney Wigan, 4 for Jada Moore, and Francesca Balibi with 2. You can see that we're just getting started here in the third quarter of play. Marty Cesario along with MK Morrow here on the north side of the Mile High City. And Grandview releases immediately off that first possession to get things going here in the third quarter. Again, it's a 4-point game. Regis trailing by 4. Visual reset for you, wearing the white uniforms trimmed in red. Those are the Regis Raiders under 15-year head coach Carl Maddie. Defending in the dark uniforms, trimmed in dark blue, the Grandview Wolves under Josh Ulitsky, the 14-year head man for the Grandview basketball program. These two squads met earlier on in the year, and that was a commanding performance on the part of Regis, 79-55 in that game. Long time ago, and well, actually it was in 2018, as you see Balibi receive, and she gets one up, misses, ball stays alive, stolen away by Wigan. Three-pointer Van Sickle, good. Watch out for Avery. She's got 3 3-pointers right now.
Well, and Van Sickle, as we said, can heat it up. She averages 4 per game in the tournament. She has 18.3 points a game and is shooting 46% from behind the arc.
Van Sickle gets her third 3, brings Regis to within 1. We've had 1 lead change. That was because we started this game with a free throw make by Regis. Since then, it's been all Grandview. Balibi, and 1. I thought she got the call. There was a whistle, but it wasn't one of the officials. So guess what? First lead since a long time for the Regis Raiders.
Well, and you see that ability to rise above, and that's exactly what Balibi did. And she was challenged, showed some athleticism to still get that shot off and in.
Well, the Raiders with the lead off of a Balibi bucket down low. We'll see how Carl Maddie and his Raiders attack here in the second half. That's a wide open shot. Jada Moore elects to drive. And then there's a whistle blown.
It looks like Marlette is going to be called for a a personal foul.
And there's Jennifer saying hello. And Olivia, Jennifer, Sierra Campbell, and the dads are watching from Aurora. What's up, A-Town?
That's right. A-Town has a lot of players who live out there on this floor tonight.
You can engage with us. Just go ahead and type away in the comments. We'll accept emojis. And if you want to go old school, the emoticons are cool. Hi, Sandy. How are you doing? Aurora, Nebraska. Okay.
Hey.
Some diversification. And Chicago.
We like it.
All right.
That's your
exactly.
Friendly hometown.
So we got Chicago watching. That's a good thing.
6-0 run for the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders have reestablished some things, and now Josh Ulitsky wants to take a timeout, and there's Carl Maddie and his crew, as we had a quick shot of Carl Maddie, and now we eavesdrop in on the backside of the Grandview Wolves, and that's Addison O'Grady, the young lady who was not pleased with the recent whistle on a defensive situation. Back to Carl Maddie, and there he is talking it out. So fun to watch. The only head coach for the Regis program, had 3 seasons previous to that at Douglas County. Over 360 wins in his career. I love the note of he sent 40 kids to play at the collegiate level through his program in 15 years. He's teaching young ladies how to ball and move on to some great opportunities, and there's his all-time record right there.
Well, and he's been doing this a long time. Prior to that, he coached a club team called the Mile High Magic, and then was an assistant at Colorado Christian, and then went down and was an assistant at the University of Colorado Springs, so UCCS in the RMAC Division II, and then was the head coach at CCU, Colorado Christian University, before moving back up to Denver and taking the Regis job 15 years ago when the high school added a girls division.
Wolves with possession for a moment until the steal by Moore. She drives on the break and good. Watch out, Regis is on a roll. At one point in the second quarter, Grandview had a 22-9 lead. Since then, 20-4, Regis is outscoring the Wolves.
And they've answered with their own defense and refocused as they found some gaps in chinks in the armor that they can get through to Grandview. And Grandview is yet to reset.
Marlette running the offense up top and then yields to Johnson. See that zone floating for Regis and their defense.
And now they're switching. They've got Wigan on the far side with Betts, and when she comes over, then it's Beliebe on her.
Ooh, nice kick out by Betts, and that results in a field goal, and the crowd likes it, supporting the Grandview Wolves, Aaliyah Marlett.
Well, that was pretty execution. Marlett running the baseline is open, and Betts takes a look and gives her the opportunity to can the three-point basket, the first points for the Wolves this quarter.
Well, Marlett now has 10 in the game, so she joins the double-digit scores. Number 11 on the side there, and then she's flanked to the left by Alicia Davis, the talented senior who will be playing basketball in Greeley in her near future at UNC. For I always say Jenny Rouillet.
Jenny
Rouillet. I know you got married, but I just remember the CU days.
It's phenomenal. and talking with head coach Josh Ulitsky, he said, what a great fit for her. You know, she's a nursing major, and that's one of their focal points at the University of Northern Colorado. And he says he loves Jenny Rouillet. He said she'll be a great fit, and he likes the program, and she'll get the best out of her in 4 years.
Beliebe inside, kicks out to Wigan. They reverse the basketball around, nearly stolen away by Tamia Johnson, but now we'll settle back in with this Regis possession with a 1-point lead. Trailing so much of that first half, able to gain the advantage.
Look at the way the Final Four is set up for 5A. You've got Continental League Regis, who took second in the Continental League to Highlands Ranch. Highlands Ranch is in the next game against Cherry Creek, who tied Grandview in the Centennial League for tops in the league. So we've got two Centennial, two Continental vying for a state title.
Look at Beliebe finding other ways to contribute. She only has 4 points in the game, the superstar headed to Stanford, but nice dish within the painted area, resulting in a bucket and back to a three-point advantage for the Regis Raiders halfway through the third quarter. Three-pointer, no good. Betts can't get the O board. Van Sickle with the rebound, and she's certainly capable of bringing it up. Down low, Beliebe. Back outside, Sid Wigan, three-pointer, and she's off. Alicia Davis with the board.
So a little bit of back and forth, but still we haven't seen much in the way of transition. Both teams really hustling back on D and forcing half-court action.
Beliebe and Betts are banging away down low. Down to Davis. She extends up in the air and misses.
Ball's tapped around enough that now Hudson gets an opportunity.
Well, that was a nice opportunity from the free throw line too, but just couldn't get it to land. So the shooting efficiency has dropped drastically for Grandview. They were pretty hot early on in the first quarter, especially 21 Hudson with those two threes that really made a statement early. Beliebe working off that bounce, blocked by Betts.
You know, a little bit of a head fake there by Beliebe would have worked against the freshman. She probably would have tried to put a roof over her, but also forced maybe some contact.
Back in for the Wolves.
She's just a freshman. 6'7" Lauren Betts, credited with the block. There she is right there. Nice look. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that floor level visual.
You know, she only had 16 minutes in that Valor Christian victory in the grade 8 against the Valor Christian. She had 5.7 rebounds in her time on the floor.
2.5 left in the third quarter. Regis with the three-point lead. Van Sickle takes the three, and she's short.
That was almost from press row. That was a huge three-point attempt.
See what Aaliyah does. Bounce pass, O'Grady, and good on the break. Look at the replay there. Davis pushes it up the floor. Aaliyah Marlett to Addison O'Grady. You reward the post, running down the floor, don't you, Mary Kay?
Well, you give it O'Grady great props for hustling down there. Cameron Brown now challenging Moore.
Well, it's almost like the Wolves collectively thinking, if we can regain that defensive intensity that we showed in the first quarter, we can get ourselves back on top, and that's what we've seen. The D making things happening for the ladies in the dark jerseys.
And that's what Grandview likes to hang its hat on. They're big on the defensive boards. They said they've got to work so hard. That's one of the keys tonight is defensive boards. But they're used to playing a smothering backcourt defense as well.
Shot no good. Nice hustle. O'Grady actually did keep it alive. Samantha Jones able to get to it. Jada Moore pushing up the floor. Sydney Wigan for three, and it's off. No good. Nice box out. O'Grady. She pushes up. Aaliyah's always chasing all the way down the floor, but she can't finish it off.
We've seen a lot of missed layups.
Yes, we have.
Wigan found herself a little bit too far under the basket on that one.
She had no choice but to just throw it up in the air and see what would happen. Now Regis is going to keep possession here. Sydney Wigan, number 4 there, will send it inbounds. A few substitutions. Van Sickle back out there. Gracie Wigan. That time of year when you don't go too deep in the benches, do you?
You really don't. You're looking for probably 7 solid if you can. If you can go 8, it's a bonus.
I don't know how Jada Moore got that up and in, but she did. Moore with 9 points in the game. Van Sickle leads Regis with 11. Hudson's still the top point totaler for Grandview with 13. And Aaliyah Marlette has 10. Let's look at the replay of Jada Moore underneath in traffic. Calling for it, too. It was tipped for a moment. Nice leverage with the hips, right?
Yeah, she just created so much space by backing up almost like a box-out move to create the space so she had an opportunity to kiss it off the glass.
Throw the buttocks into the opponent and create yourself some space. 4-2.
Well, she's so wiry. But she's 5'11", which is a great 5'10". 5'11 is even better, but 5'10 is such a great size in women's basketball at any level. And she showed a lot of versatility on the block.
Raiders, with about 20 seconds left in the third quarter, have the 3-point lead.
Sam Jones.
Near trouble there for Beliebe.
All alone there.
Going for a final shot here.
Look at the mismatch here with Brown on Moore.
Moore doing great work. Davis with nice defense underneath, but then the whistle's blown.
Look at the work, the crossover and the behind the back moves by Moore. Great handles on the 5'4" Brown, so she gave up 7 inches against the 5'11" Moore.
That was like Sunday afternoons, Park Hill on the blacktop. Work somebody.
It worked as well.
Jada Moore, there she is. She's already had some offers from the ACC, Big 12, West Coast Conference, the MAC. Top 10 in Class 5A in assists per game. 2 for 2, Moore at the line. Quickly down the other end. And the Wolves, an unforced error with 0.9 seconds showing.
Moore has 7 of the 14 points this quarter for Regis. That's how impactful she has been. Such a difference maker, and with Beliebe not scoring, they need some help.
Long clear, Sydney Wigan. If that goes in, Jada Moore goes Rocky, the Nuggets mascot, for a moment. Yeah, big smile there, because we were all thinking the same thing. No, you're not.
You know, it looked pretty good when it was released.
Well, Moore misses that one, but she had very strong third quarter, and it's a 5-point lead for the number 2 team in the state. Fourth quarter coming up in the Final Four here on the NFHS Network and Facebook Watch. I believe we're going to keep it here, and we'll go through some of these statistics. And those will be delivered to us in just a moment by the lovely Jenny from the Colorado High School Activities Association as you look at the Spirit squad for Grandview, looking to pep up their squad with just a fourth quarter upcoming. Mary Kay, what does Grandview have to do is get a look at some of the housekeeping that we have to do. Just look around NFHS Network Hoops on Facebook Watch. You can find some outstanding action not only in Colorado but also across the nation. MK, Grandview, what do they have to do? 8 minutes left.
You know, Grandview does such a good job with defense, and they actually were not getting back in time and allowing Regis to really take advantage of some gaps, mainly on the wings, so that open spot for some three looks, but also really not stopping penetration. Dribble penetration has been effective. Jada Moore is so strong getting to the rim. They weren't able to stop her. They have to go back to their inside-outside game where they had Marlette hitting from outside and they were getting some good looks inside by the three bigs.
Jada Moore, you can see as you're watching along with us, is one of the most physical point guards in the region for sure. Right now, Jada's up top with Gracie Wigan. Pardon me, it's Avery Van Sickle as that floating 2-3 zone reacts. Aaliyah off, and no second chances for Grandview. Van Sickle goes down, and the call will be tripping, and so Van Sickle looks up at the board. We got a long way to go before anybody gets shots. How about this for a tilt in foul calls? In this half, team foul 5 against the Wolves, 0 whistles against Regis.
That is crazy. So 2 more, and it'll be bonus time for the Regis Raiders for the rest of the way.
Jada Moore operating right now. Near steal by Davis in the open floor. Beliebe trying to chase it down. Not going to happen. 3-on-1. And then there's a whistle blown. Well, that negates the fast break opportunity for Grandview, and you can hear the crowd react, and you can see Tamia Johnson looking up.
So Beliebe picks up her 4th, and here's foul trouble. One of the X factors, foul trouble. Beliebe tends to foul, and that's what teams like to do, is go after her. But this one, you know, I don't want to misdescribe it, but it just seemed to me it was unintentional. Not like, you know, she literally was going for the ball.
Well, with all that just occurred as you were watching, maybe that ignites some momentum for Grandview. Immediately, they send it down to Lauren Betts, and the 6'7" freshman gets a bucket. Grandview within 3. Gracie Wigan 4-3, and she's off. And there's the length.
And Wigan's a great option, but to me, she's a second option in that three-point attempt. You know, you want to mix it up, but you still need to get it in the hands of Avery Van Sickle, who's got 3 tonight.
Trying to get down low. And that's going to be a turnover called to where Regis is going to get possession of the basketball. Sam Jones reacting. Let's look at the replay. Feed down low.
Well, Sam Jones was on the inside of that. That was questionable at best. Nonetheless, Josh Ulitsky tells his team, let's forget it and play D.
You certainly can understand why Lauren Betts reacted that way. Meanwhile, yes, you must play defense right now. And Mary Kay pointed out, Francesca Beliebe is on the bench right now with 4 fouls. Two minutes into the fourth quarter. Regis, 3-point advantage. Winner goes to the state championship game on Saturday.
Without Beliebe in the game, you see Grandview matching up, playing a good matchup defense right now.
Well, that was a nice 2-man game. Eventually, Sam Jones got the basketball, but it didn't fall through, and then a jump ball called. Who's got the arrow? And, well, you can see the reaction. You already know the answer. Regis will maintain possession with 5.5 left in this basketball game.
Lisa Stone, the official, called that one a tie-up, and that'll stay with Regis.
Well, we'll stay right here as we probe around and eavesdrop in on the huddles. You see the freshman sitting down, assistants comforting her. I'm looking at stats midway through this final period. Well, the defense is showing 12 turnovers for Grandview, 11 for Regis. You know, these two powerhouse programs. It's the defense that'll make you look bad no matter what.
Yeah, they're forcing the turnovers. And for Grandview, they have 4 blocks tonight. Beliebe, who averages 2.5 a game, has 0. And so do the Raiders. Only 2 steals for Regis as well.
Overall shooting, Grandview at 36%, 35% for Regis.
You know, we're talking to Coach Josh Ulitsky, who he himself, we talk about how successful Carl Matty's been at Regis, 3 state titles, over 362 games he's won. Josh Ulitsky got his 300th just on January 26th in his 14 years at the helm at Grandview. And, you know, I said, you know, do you mention it all, like we need to defend our 2-time, you know, state championship and or titles? And he said no. He said, he goes, you could maybe call it pressure. He goes, but we for the last 2 years have had a target on our back. So he said, he goes, every team plays their best against Grandview. He said, so we've just learned to just take it in stride, and each team wants to set its own legacy.
Wigan from the corner, that went off the top of the backboard. Coach Ulitsky off camera reacting. That was one of those 50-50 balls. You got to go get those in these situations. And meanwhile, Van Sickle rolling off of that high screen from Wigan. Look at the trap attempt on Moore. She gets out of it. Gracie up, and it's short. Betts has had large presence here in the second half. Tamia Johnson to the corner. 3-pointer, and that's off. Rebound, Betts, put back, good.
Betts now 4 in a row to pull her team to within 1.
Well, what else do you want? It's the Final Four here at Le Calais in the Mile High City, and it's a 1-point game.
Marty, there's a matchup deep in the corner. You see number 11, Van Sickle. She wants to get open, but a great matchup with 5'9" Landry Hudson against the 5'10" Avery Van Sickle. So it's a good matchup and a little bit thicker, so she's going to, you know, take up a little bit more space trying to see Van Sickle, and she also moves so well. She has very quick hands. It's a very good defensive matchup.
Nice eyes,
Wolves.
Coach. Near steal. Yes, it is. Tamia Johnson for the lead. And good.
And Tamia Johnson has 4 points tonight, both off steals and layups.
There it is.
See the strip? No one's around.
Pick +2. Tamia Johnson regains the lead for the Grandview Wolves, and a timeout on the floor as her teammates give her a little love. Good thoughts whispered in her ears by the assistants. And you look at the reaction of the Regis Raiders. You know, and keep an eye on what Mary Kay was describing just before the Tamia Johnson steal and field goal. I was watching along, and you should do the same on screen, is the aggressiveness and the physicality. Landry Hudson is denying Avery Van Sickle her touches. Kimberly, how you doing? Well, you just got a 2 and regain the lead as she's rooting for the Wolves. Gwyneth into Regis. Plenty time to go. Halfway through the 4th. Both these squads certainly have the capability of grabbing a victory and moving on to another championship game. Hey, Chicago watch party at Castino's. How you doing, Riley? Good for you. Get some za, cannoli.
Marty's going to be on a plane shortly.
Van Sickle did get a touch.
Is that going to be a foul on Beliebe? She was reaching over.
Ooh.
That was close. That was close.
Well, Fran, so smart, immediately clapped her hands. Persuasion. Look at the replay here.
So Van Sickle a runner, yeah. Ooh. She had the runner. See the over
Mary
the
Kay,
top? That
yeah.
was a 50-50.
1-point game. Grandview with the lead after the Tamia Johnson steal and break for 2.
It's almost a double. You got Sydney Wigan fronting Betts and Beliebe behind defensively on the 6'7" freshman. And then you got Davis at the high post, and they like that high-low when they can get it.
Into Davis. She's got an opportunity. Instead, tries to pass it to Betts. Back to the outside. Corner. Hudson. And look at the offensive rebound for Aaliyah Marlett. Results in a Davis putback attempt, and she's fouled. Well, now things have tilted. Momentum clearly in favor of Grandview with an extended possession for about 60 seconds there, resulting in Alicia Davis, the 6'2 senior, will be at the line. Love those shots from Gio on the court. Jeremy rooting on the Grandview Wolves as Alicia Davis hits the first. She has 5 points in the game. I think the big stars as we look at Kiki.
Davis averages 12.4 points a game, and on the boards, almost 7 per outing. She knocks both of them down.
I think Kiki and Rochelle are Tamia Johnson fans, by the way, with the cookies. Corey into the Wolves. How you doing, Corey? Right now, Alicia Davis just hit 2 free throws, and what a surge by the Grandview Wolves. They've got themselves a 3-point lead. Still a 1-possession game. More of that ISO on Van Sickle, being defended by Hudson. Steal, Davis, she's on the run. And gets the 2.
Here's what's smart about what Davis did. She knows that Beliebe can block, but she also knows Beliebe has 4 fouls. So she's going to challenge her. She's going to go up, and Beliebe couldn't deny.
A 10-0 run got Regis back into the game in the second quarter. Guess what? 10-0 run right now for Grandview. Sam Jones off. Beliebe, offensive putback, successful.
Great players have great answers, and when the pressure's on, Beliebe comes through. Keep Regis in it.
Along the baseline, fed Betts. Davis to Betts. And a quick counter by Grandview. And we'll look at the replay right here of the nice work by Alicia Davis and Lauren Betts.
Post to post, and Betts falling away.
5-point game. Van Sickle off. No good. Rebound by Aaliyah Marlett. How about all the little things that Marlett has done in this basketball game, including handling it right now? Over to Hudson, reverse it around to Tamia Johnson.
Yeah, her defense with her ability to recognize passes and get her hand in the passing lane, deflections, and then opportunities knocking down flat open shots.
Betts calling for it before the feed down low. Davis absorbed contact, and we'll get more nice looks at the 6'2 senior Alicia Davis, the future UNC Bear, who will be playing at Butler Hancock Arena up there in Greeley.
Yeah, and she will be an outstanding Big Sky player and huge for the Bears. And she was big last year in the state championship. One of her teammates, Layla Vigil, fouled out, and the onus was on Davis and company. And she and Galloway and Marlett and Hudson, they made it happen, and Davis took it upon her shoulder and helped that team to a second championship in a row.
We knew it would be a battle. Look at the reaction of the folks in the blue, traveled up from Southeast Aurora. Here you go. Why don't you help us out as you're watching along? MVP. Who would be the most valuable player? Now, hey, let's understand there's still 67 seconds. Matter of fact, 77 seconds remaining in this basketball game in regulation. But if you were to help out with who would be our MVP this evening on this broadcast, why don't you share with us? Go ahead and type it in the comment section. And again, we'll take the emojis. A well-toned fist pound, something like that. Strong arm. I'm still always politicking for a female strong arm, by the way.
Strong arm.
Yeah, I want a female strong arm. It's uncool.
I love it. In that 12-2 run for Grandview, 6 points by Betts, 4 points by Davis, and the breakaway on the steal off of Tamia Johnson. Those are your points, and that's how they've responded. Defense, free throws, and back to points in the paint where they've had the edge right along. 10-2 after 3 quarters. So now they're going back to what works for them and what worked in the first quarter and finding a groove late in the game.
Carl Maddie employing the 5'2 freshman Madden McHugh. He saw a couple of shots of number 3 out there on the floor. She's had limited minutes in this Final Four game. But out there because, one, she's foul free, and two, because she's really good defending.
You know, here's the other thing. This is a low-scoring affair. And Regis coming in, Regis Jesuit, held Cherokee Trail to 28, held Denver East to 15, and held Horizon in the grade 8 to 37. They've only given up 80 points, an average of 26.6 per game, and tonight it's 43, but they're playing the two-time defending state champs.
Gwyneth is a Fran fan. Jeremy thinks Lauren, the freshman, is a beast on fuego. And the Rochelle, says Alicia Davis. Oh, and there's the strong arm. That is clutch. I appreciate that so much. Robert saying Lauren Betts. Yeah, you know what? That's great instincts.
I'd love to see a tat for you with a strong arm.
With the old school World War II female strong arm, right?
I'd like to see it.
And maybe the image could be one of my daughters, right?
There you go. There you go. Why
In the
not?
babushka. 65 seconds left. It is a 7-point game after the free throws hit by Davis.
So getting Avery Van Sickle involved. Avery Van Sickle, who at the break, Van Sickle had 10 points. After 3 had 13. And she's been quiet here in the fourth.
It's a 14-2 run for Grandview here on the back end of this basketball game. We're under a minute to play. Grandview threatening to move on to the championship game for a third consecutive year. The D-up call by the Wolves fans in the corner of this Coliseum, and a foul called and more free throws coming. You know what time it is. You've watched enough basketball. We're going to see free throw attempts. And it'll be Aaliyah Marlett, the 5'9" senior. Appropriate that she gets that isolated look from the floor cam of Gio Lujan, because she has done so many things that don't involve highlights. Missed that one. Belibi back out there on the floor. 30 seconds left. Moore driving, no good. Betts with another board. The length of Betts has had huge impact.
It really has, because even if you're at 6'3" and you come over the back and you've got even the hops that we know that Belibi has at 6'1" can get up and over somebody, you still make contact, you still have that chance to hit an arm. But when you're 6'7", you can still jump and still reach over and it not be a reaching foul. And avoid contact.
Coaches are going to go to game film and try to figure out what happened here in this fourth quarter. Much in favor to the Grandview Wolves, who look like they're on their way to the championship game. Now they have possession after that free throw miss, so Tamia Johnson. And part of the story I'm going to tell, that young lady right there, Tamia Johnson, the catalyst in this comeback. That steal in the open space, running down the floor and getting that two, I think that was a surge of motivation for her basketball team.
And at that time, her team was up by 7, but it was almost like an exclamation point, like exploiting a weakness that they were just feeling like we were getting back in, maybe being able to draw something up offensively in the half court. But anytime you get a steal and a bucket, it's going to take a little wind out of the sails of your opponent.
Grandview outscoring Regis. They were down 36-1, or 36-31, pardon me. Since then, a 17-2 run as Jamie Ulitsky is right behind us. Jamie's happy with her hubby.
And Jamie was the AD for a while at Grandview as well.
Yeah, she's seen some good athletes, some good programs. 15 seconds left. And Grandview has the
possession
basketball.
There.
Here we go. Celebration for the Wolves.
Tamia Johnson will dribble it out.
Final score, Grandview 48, Regis 38. The Wolves will play in the Class 5A Finals here at the Coliseum against the winner of our second semifinal match, Cherry Creek and Highland.
Heartbreak for the ladies in white. You can visualize it with the point guard, Jada Moore. Meanwhile, the ladies in blue, pure jubilation for the Pack.
You know, a game of runs in many, many ways, and Grandview got the last say. They had a 10-0 run, turned into a 12-2 run, that turned into a 19-2 run to win this one. I'm not going to even say handily, really. They really showed the way they were able to play defense and how that really turned into some offensive opportunities off of turnovers. And then also, you can't deny the presence of 6'7" Lauren Betts, the freshman.
Alicia Davis dancing up and down. She's got her groove going. Lauren Betts, big impact. There's Alicia right there. Very pleased as a senior moving on to the state championship game once again for the third consecutive season. And they will have the right to battle for a third consecutive championship. They will play either Highlands Ranch, the top team in the state of Colorado, or the Cherry Creek Bruins. So you see the Wolves posing for postseason shots. So a 17-2 surge in the fourth quarter leads to the 48-38 victory for the Grandview Wolves. I must thank our crew. You talk about D1, these guys. Phil Mildred, our production director, along with Justin Salvia, Alex Wines, Mike Trujillo, Gio Lujan, Peter Garcia. For my partner, Mary Kay Morrow, thank you so much. Nice work.
Great stuff.
Appreciate that, MK. Final score, 48-38. Grandview is moving on to the state championship game. Congratulations to the Wolves, and we say good night from the Denver Coliseum.